I've been doing that for a couple of years now. But I'm here today wearing my other hat, which is my older hat, and that is I am a graphic designer. I'm a brand designer with Castiglione Creative, and I work with established businesses to help you design a memorable brand and create marketing and promotional designs that help you consistently communicate with your customers. I love when I can connect and understand your business and make sure that I put out, give you graphics and images that consistently deliver the same message to your customers so they get to know you and remember you. So it's Castiglione Creative, and happy to be here today.
Great, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and have Jen, your mic's off, so we'll go ahead and have you go and introduce yourself. Jen Burns.
Hi, I'm Jen Bruns with Helping Angels, here to make your life easier. We offer full and partial cleanings. We also offer errands and companionship for the seniors and disabled to take them to appointments and help their families out. Jen with Helping Angels.
Thanks, Jen. Christy, do you want to go next?
Sure. Hi there. I'm Christy Cook. I own Maud Law Firm. I'm a small business and nonprofit attorney. I help my clients get their businesses legally shored up.
Thank you. Denise, do you want to go next?
Sure, happy to. Hey, everybody. I guess what I'll just say, I wear a couple hats, but the one I will highlight today is just teaching virtual piano lessons. So I have about 20 students at the moment, and I'm focusing on increasing the number of adult students that I have. And it's for personal relaxation, meaningful interaction, and joy. No recitals, no competitions, just play what you want to play.
Thank you. Patty, you want to go next?
Sure. I'm Patty Cervenka. I've created the organization Greenish Neighbor to help spread the word about how being greenish is a more sustainable way of being an environmentalist. You can make small changes over time that will make a big impact on the planet. And I do now virtual lessons and sessions to talk about what's in your trash and what goes in your recycling and how to reduce waste in the first place. And that's Greenish Neighbor. Thanks.
Thanks, Patty. Always something new to learn from her, let me tell you. Tina, you're up next.
Hey, how is everybody today? I am Tina Owen. I am a personal safety specialist with Damsel in Defense. I help people figure out how best to keep themselves and their families safe in a very unpredictable world. I encourage everyone to please take your personal safety seriously. Unfortunately, crime has not slowed down when the rest of the world has slowed down. In fact, it has actually increased. So you really, really need to be situationally aware and pay attention when you are out and about. Also, just scan your home for safety. Make sure that you are safe in your own home and that you would know how to protect yourself should something happen, should somebody try to get into your home that doesn't belong. I want you to be prepared, not scared. Tina Owen, Damsel in Defense.
Thanks, Tina. Melanie, you're up next. Or did you already go? No. Go ahead.
Hi. In a single email campaign, my client got 80 times her typical sales in 12 days. I'm an email marketing specialist and a digital marketing strategist. My name is Melanie Deal, founder and CEO of Melanie & Co. Marketing Collective, and we help businesses grow, expand, and grow, creating massive results online. Digital marketing company, and I just released an ebook last night. I dropped the link in the chat if anybody would like to have access to that. It's a freebie. Thank you.
Cool, thank you. Tammy, you're up next.
I am Tammy Taz with Rock the Tazbot Photographer. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. I'm your local photographer here. If you want a headshot, I'm running a special actually only for the 1099 ladies. It's going to be $167 for an hour, and you're getting the digital files directly to you. Linda knows, she's got it. The $250 off special I have is for everybody else, but headshots for the 1099, I'm doing $167 for an hour, and you got the digital rights. Tammy Taz, Rock the Tazbot Photography.
Thanks, Tammy. Linda, you want to go next?
Oh, of course I do. Hello, everybody. My name is Linda Tello. I'm actually the founder of the 1099 Ladies, because I realized that women who are self-employed, if they had to find every customer for themselves, that could be a full-time job. They wouldn't have any time left to do their services. So we come here and meet, get to know each other, and become each other's referral partners. And we don't charge for that because I don't believe you should pay for the privilege of giving someone else a lead. During the building of this networking group, I've met a great many women. I know somebody you need to know. Please reach out, connect with me. Let's do a one-on-one and let the referrals begin. Linda of the 1099 Ladies.
Thank you. Anna, you want to go next?
Yes, sorry, took me a minute to get unmuted. Good afternoon, Anna Florence Crawford. As Wendy mentioned, I am the grateful host of the Mebane 1099 Ladies chapter. My business is I educate women, men, and teens about taking care of their skin. And I've had the privilege to start doing some of that virtually. I'm very hands-on, like meeting people face-to-face. But now I have an app that actually allows you to scan your skin. Normally it was only available for me as a Mary Kay consultant, but now I can actually send that out to customers. They can scan their own skin with their cell phone and then send me the info, and I can still work with them remotely. So if you know someone that maybe is interested in skincare or not sure if they're using the right products, I would love to talk to them. Anna Florence Crawford, Independent Beauty Consultant, Mary Kay.
Thanks, Anna. Barnsley, welcome. Do you want to go next?
Thank you. I apologize for being a couple of minutes late. I was on a call with a client. So, yay, how would it be, you all, to be able to be happy and peaceful no matter what? Would that sound good? Yeah? Some people are like, I'm not sure. I want to be unhappy and suffer. So I'm Dr. Barnsley Brown, and what I do is I train you in Reiki, which is a method of natural stress and pain relief that is used in over 800 hospitals in the United States. And you can do it on yourself and on your animals. We have a new doggy right down here. He loves his Reiki. He was hit by a car and left in the street. And we took him in this week, and he's getting Reiki on his hip. He had hip surgery, and he's doing very well. So you all, Reiki is just an amazing thing that you can use. And also, I have an incredible mastermind, the Make It Happen Power Mastermind, where 100% of the women are getting 100% of their results. I have one spot left for next month. So talk with me if that's something you want to apply for. You have to apply. Dr. Barnsley Brown. Good to see y'all.
Thank you. Hope, I see that you just joined us. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Hope with Club Z Tutors. We provide online tutoring anytime, anywhere, any place, and any subject. So if you have a need, whether it's ABCs, 1, 2, 3, higher maths or chemistries, it doesn't matter if you want it at 5 a.m., 3 a.m., or during the day. We have a tutor who can help you out. ClubZTutors.com.
Thanks, Hope. Demi, do you want to introduce yourself?
There it goes. I'm Demi Goldman. I am a member of the Ladies 1099 board. I am also the proud owner of a page called Cooks with Scissors. And what I do is I do recipes that you don't need to do with a knife. And so today I'm doing chicken enchiladas. And there'll be a picture of that on my page. So go ahead and go on my Facebook page, Cooks with Scissors. Thanks.
Thanks, Demi. And Laura.
I am Laura Talbot. I'm the realtor that likes to rhyme. So, Sleeping Beauty couldn't sleep, so she gave me a call. Staying at home with Prince Charming, there's no room after all. So I went on a search to find her the perfect place. I knew I found the right mansion by the look on their face. They moved in right away and are having a ball. And y'all know how the story ends. They lived happily after all. I'm Laura Talbot, Dream Living Realty, making all your real estate dreams come true.
Thanks, Laura. And so that was the end of the 30-second elevator pitches. Again, I want to thank you for coming to the 1099 Ladies Networking of Apex. And I'm going to allow Lauren McGee to introduce herself today. Before I do that, I just want to say that I've had a really good experience with the Strength Finders, the Gallup Strength Finders assessment, and I thought that today would be a nice pickup for people to go ahead and learn a little bit more about it. And I just think that it helps you get to know who you are. And I really had a great experience by the time that I decided to shift from being in the corporate world to actually being self-employed. So this kind of got me going with things. I am actually going to, I'm so excited and so supportive of this assessment tool of who you are that I'm going to offer to somebody who's going to win a book today. And so with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Lauren so that she can introduce herself and tell us what's all great about living with our strengths.
Thank you so much for having me, Wendy, and really great to meet you all. I've met many of you and you've heard this before, so thank you for bearing with me. Appreciate that intro, Wendy. It's always really encouraging to hear how StrengthsFinder and just understanding our talents has made lives a lot better. So my current title, I'm the Vice President of Client Relations and Recruiting for Human Capital Solutions here in Wilmington. We are an executive retained search firm. We also provide coaching and consulting. Obviously, the coaching aspect is what I'll chat about today. I'm a certified StrengthsFinder coach, and I get to do that for organizations across the country in my role. So I wanted to share with you guys a little bit today about your talents. So if you give me 1 second, I will share my screen so you don't have to look at just me for the rest of the time. So I want to start out by playing a little game, which I know is intimidating over Zoom, but I'm just going to have you raise your hand instead of saying anything or putting anything in the chat. So what I want you to do, when I say this phrase, if it applies to you almost 100% of the time, you just kind of raise your hand so everyone can see. So raise your hand if you always talk to people in airplanes, elevators, grocery stores, anywhere. Oh, wow, a lot of you, okay. Raise your hand if you have a closet organized by color or some other process. There's my girls. Raise your hand if you write a list of things to do every day. All right, now keep your hand raised if you complete this list every day. All right, wow, I'm impressed. Raise your hand if you always go directly to a familiar face at a party or some other social gathering. All right. Raise your hand if you need to compete with other drivers on the road. Okay, good. Not a whole lot of those people. The last time I asked that question in an audience, the only person that raised their hand was a cop. So who knows? Raise your hand if you can always discover the plot of the movie before anyone else figures it out. Yeah, me neither. And last but not least, raise your hand if you always press the elevator button to remind it that you are still there. Lots of control freaks in the audience. I'm with you. So thank you for doing that. Your responses to these phrases are often an indication of your top talents. So for example, I'm one of those people that has my closet organized by color, and I thought that was very normal. And then I got married and realized that's maybe not so normal. So the strength and talent of discipline is in my top 10 strengths. And what discipline means is that I can create structure and organization even in the middle of chaos. And so for me, organizing my closet by color just keeps me sane, especially in a pandemic. I can have control over it. So just as an example of some of our talents. So with that being said, I mentioned talent and I mentioned strength, but what is the difference? And that's really what we're talking about today. So I am a big volleyball player. I like to use a volleyball analogy. So hopefully you guys have either played volleyball or have some sort of understanding, but just to give you a little visual. So a talent looks like this. You have a volleyball player who's standing behind the end line, who can serve the ball over the net to the other side of the court. Okay, so that's an athletic talent or ability. Now in comparison, a strength looks more like this. You have a volleyball player who's standing behind the end line, who can serve the ball over the net to the other side of the court. But this time it's the game-winning point. And the entire stadium is on pins and needles to see if they're gonna choke. So not only can they serve the ball over the net, but they can serve it exactly where they want it to go, directly in front of the weakest player, so they know the ball will not be returned, and they win the game. So I'll break that down. What started as just a talent, with time, investment, and effort put into it, it went from a talent to a strength. And a strength is the ability to provide near perfect performance almost every single time, even under immense pressure and with precision. So to finish with strength, you must first start with talent. And I'll say that again if you're taking notes. To finish with strength, you must first start with talent. And now talent, what is that? Talent is a naturally recurring pattern of thought, feeling, or behavior that can be productively applied. Now for the purposes of today, the key phrase is productively applied. Because if you ladies have a talent, but you're not really using it, is it really a talent at all, right? So what I want to do visually to help you understand the difference between talent and strength, I've listed here a list of Clifton StrengthsFinder 34 strengths, right? So according to psychologists across the world, there are 34 common talents or strengths. I'll use that word interchangeably. And so for some of you, I know several of you have taken the assessment before, so you may recognize a few of these talents, and you may look at competition and harmony and empathy and say, ooh, that's me. So by the way, I'll ask that question. Is there, of the people who have taken the assessment, would anyone like to share any of their top 5 strengths with the group?
Well, since I'm so into this, I'll go ahead and share. I know that 3 of mine go into the strategic thinking. So input, intellection, and learner.
Thank you. So that's a perfect example of what Wendy just shared is some of us have dominant talents in these categories. So 3 out of her top 5 fall into the strategic thinking category. So it's safe to say that Wendy is more often than not a strategic thinker. And for anyone that knows her, I would assume that you would agree with that. Very intellectual, she's very strategic, very visionary, innovative. These are often words to describe people that have these particular talents. So I want you to visualize a Monday morning meeting, right? You and your fellow business owners are meeting together, maybe similarly to a 1099 group. You're meeting together. And so what I want you to envision is the different types of people that are often in these networking or meeting settings. So for the execution category, for the individuals in this particular meeting that have these talents that fall into this category, these are going to be the people that are taking notes, that are asking for action items. They're asking questions. Yes, that's a great idea, but now how do we implement it? How do we do that? How do we apply? These are the doers of our world. These are the people that are executing on behalf of other people. So picture the same meeting, the same people, influencers, people that have influencing strengths in their design. These are the people who naturally are influencers. And so what that can often look like is a natural leader, someone to take charge and take command, to give a voice to people and to new ideas. These are the people that can rally others around them and get them excited about what's to come and what to accomplish together. Same meeting, same people, the relationship builders. People that have these talents and strengths are the people who are making sure everybody knows exactly what their role is. They're making sure everyone gets heard. They're making sure everyone has their 30-second elevator pitch, making sure everyone has an equal opportunity to share their business card or their business ideas, etc. These are the people that are looking out for other people. And last but not least, the strategic thinkers, same group, same meeting. These are typically the people that are going to observe and to listen and to not ask questions until they've really internally processed things. These are the people who are looking ahead to the future. They're asking the intuitive, deep questions. Where do we go from here? What are our goals in 5 and 10 years? These are the visionaries. These are the people that are the constant learners who are constantly absorbing information around them to help other people around them as well. So hopefully that helped give you a very brief overview, albeit, of what each of these categories may look like. But keep in mind that every single one of these talents are specific to you. All right, so to round out this picture of this talent movement, this is a kind of a cartoon picture of the leading psychologist behind the StrengthsFinder movement. His name was Mr. Donald Clifton, Dr. Donald Clifton. And he had this very famous quote. He said, "What will happen when we think about what is right with people rather than fixating on what is wrong with them?" And this really is the heart of the Clifton StrengthsFinder movement, that we believe that the road to success is paved with people who have focused on what they're naturally good at and not wasted their time focusing on what they're bad at. So as business owners and entrepreneurs, I would imagine that about 99% of you have a tendency, perhaps, to focus on what you're not so great at, what your business is not doing, as opposed to what you're amazing at, your natural talents, how you've allowed your business to be successful. And my encouragement to you today, and really the purpose of talking about our talents, is to flip the script and shift that paradigm. And what I'm not saying is to completely forget about your weaknesses, right? As business owners and entrepreneurs, we have to be all of the things. We have to be the accountant. We have to be the financial professional. We have to be the saleswoman. We have to be the visionary. We have to be everything to everyone. And so how in the world do we do this appropriately when we're just not naturally good at all of those things? And what I would like to talk about today is to focus on and really hone in on what it is that you do provide naturally, how you can personally thrive in your individual design. If you are a natural saleswoman, then you sell the heck out of that business, and you mentor other women and professionals on how to sell their businesses, and you give back using the talent, appropriately applying the talent that you have. And acknowledging your weaknesses is certainly a part of this journey, but the purpose is not to stay there and to stay stuck there, but rather to pave that road to success by focusing on what you're naturally great at. And so we'll talk about that a little bit more. And so if I can ask you guys, if you have the ability to unmute yourselves for just a second, and I'll go down the line and ask you, very similar to how Wendy did, I'll just sort of popcorn around. And what I want you to share is one positive word that people use to describe you. So this could be when you were a child, this could be something that you heard yesterday. We all have one or two of those phrases we've heard before where people say, hey, you're really good at this, or you are this. So what is one positive word people use to describe you? And Wendy, I'll start with you since you're directly under me.
Sure. Everybody seems to say that calming, actually.
I would agree with that. Laura, you're next.
Achiever or overachiever.
Okay. Demi?
Persistent.
Persistent. Oh, that's a good one. Estelle, I believe?
Outgoing.
Outgoing, I like that. Nanette?
An organizer.
Ooh. Denise?
Considerate.
I like that one. Patty,
Positive.
that's one I get to. Anna.
Trustworthy. A lot of people tell me they trust me and they confide in me.
That's good branding. Tammy.
Hello.
Oh.
Yes, sorry.
I'll go to Barnsley.
Results oriented.
Tina.
Confident.
Melanie.
Friendly.
How about you, Jen?
Soft-hearted, caring.
Linda?
People always say I'm the connector because I'm always connecting people.
Hope, if you can hear us. Maybe not. All right, and then last, oh, I'm sorry, Christy.
Authentic.
Authentic. How about you, Tammy?
I'm unique.
Unique. That's a good one. I think that was everyone. Did I miss anyone other than Hope? I think she's muted. I think that's everyone. Okay, so my hope is that as we go along in the conversation, you'll be able to bridge the gap between the word.
Sorry.
That's okay. So bridging the gap between the words people use to describe you and your top 5 talents. So the purpose of when people use these words to describe you, it's not to define you, it's not to box you in, it's not to say that this is who you are 100% of the time, but rather people use these words to describe you and your character and your personality because they are meant to differentiate you. There's something that separates you in a sea of sameness. And the same rule applies to your talents. Excuse me. They're not meant to define you or to box you in or to say that this is how you are, you have to act 100% of the time, but rather to differentiate you. There's something very unique and special about the talents that you bring to the table. So unique, in fact, that the chances of you having the same top 5 talents in the exact same order as another person is a 1 in 33 million chance. So I'll say that again. The chances of you having the same talents in the same order as another person is a 1 in 33 million chance. So if you break that down, essentially if every single American took the Clifton Strengths Assessment, less than 10 people would have the same results as you. So you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your business to really focus in on what those talents are and thrive in them. So Gallup, as Wendy mentioned at the beginning, this is a Gallup StrengthsFinder assessment. And so they've done a little bit of research in their time of being around. And they found that for the entrepreneur, for the business owner, for the employer, that people who focus on using their strengths are 3 times as likely to report having an excellent quality of life. As Barnsley mentioned at the beginning, finding peace and happiness and joy. Part of that is focusing on the talents that you bring to the table and using them appropriately. They've also found that people who focus on using their strengths are 6 times as likely to be engaged in their jobs or in their businesses. And so what exactly does engagement mean? So Gallup has defined what engagement is. And it's essentially when a person has the opportunity to do what they are best at every single day. It doesn't mean it's your dream job. It doesn't mean that you can't imagine yourself doing anything else for the rest of your life. It just means that in your business, in your role, you have the opportunity to do what you are best at every single day. And we also call this, and it's a little corny, but bear with me, the strengths zone. And so for someone who is working in the strength zone, here are some symptoms, some results of that, right? You look forward to going to work. You have more positive than negative interactions with your coworkers. And all of those things are great, but at the end of the day, the most important piece is that you go home and you lay your head on your pillow and you truly believe that you have contributed to society in some positive way, that you have made an impact on that day. because you are working in the talents that have been provided to you and you're using it for the world around you. So if you have a piece of paper or a pen, anything to write on in front of you, you won't need to share this or say anything out loud, but I do want you to write a number between 1 and 10, and I'll explain what those numbers are. I'd like to test the engagement of the group today. So on the continuum of a 1 to a 10, a 1 being, I hate what I'm doing every day. I can't stand what I'm doing. My talents are definitely not being utilized. I am just mentally, physically, emotionally exhausted at the end of the day. I do not go home feeling like I have achieved something of importance. I would literally rather be doing anything else in life. So pretty extreme. So a 1 to a 10, and a 10 being, this world is lucky to have me. I am amazing at what I do. My talents are utilized every single day. I can't imagine doing anything differently for my career. My business is thriving. I love everything about what I'm doing because it just feels, it resonates with me. It feels exactly like me. So from a 1 to a 10, I want you to just take a second and write down where you think you fall as it stands today. And as you're writing your number down, I would encourage you to find at least one person, a friend, a colleague, someone here in this group, to share that number with and hold you accountable. Because the purpose of these groups are to become better, right? And so what I would not like is if someone in this group wrote down a 2 and they had no plan of action to get themselves closer and closer to a 10. And once you look at your number and you start to evaluate, why did I write this down? I want you to ask yourself some hard questions. If you're a 10, that's amazing. That's great. I'd love to hear that. And how do you stay there? How do you continue to stay thriving in what you're doing? If you're any other number than that, I want you to ask the questions of, what do I need to do differently? What talents do I have that maybe I'm not using? Do I need to invite other people into this? Is this just too much for me, too much of a burden? Should I change my business model or my strategy or my networking strategy? What is it about your number that you can focus on and make those incremental baby steps starting today? How and what would need to happen for you to work in your strengths zone, to have the opportunity to do what you're amazing at every single day? So I'd like for you to hopefully follow up with somebody here in this group, someone you're close with, or maybe just a husband or anyone in your household that you trust in talking about your career. So obviously we've talked and I've talked about talents and strengths and how they can benefit you and your business. But what do we do now? So I want to give you 3 very simple takeaways that you can start today to understand and really hone in and focus on the talents that you possess. So 1, very simple, you can certainly take the StrengthsFinder assessment for yourself or for any of your employees that you have, anyone that you work alongside in your business on a consistent basis. Now I will put a little asterisk here and say, obviously I'm a fan of the StrengthsFinder assessment. I know Wendy is. This is not the end all be all. You do not have to have the StrengthsFinder assessment to be successful in your business by any means, but it certainly cannot hurt to know what you bring to the table and what unique abilities you possess. It's certainly a good starting point. I know Wendy mentioned to me before the phone call, taking the assessment was a big turning point for her. It was an aha moment of, here's what I'm capable of, and I'm not really being challenged to do this in my everyday life. I have a very similar story with understanding my talents. It brought me into entrepreneurship as well. So certainly it cannot hurt, but just a suggestion, if you would like to know more of your talents, if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to me after as well. Secondly, whether or not you take the assessment, we all have some sort of understanding of what we're good at. We know if we're good at accounting or not. It's a pretty clear line, right? So what I would encourage you to do is to start researching and discovering those pieces of yourself, and to do that for the people around you. If you have employees, if you have partners, if you have coworkers and colleagues that you speak with on a consistent basis, have a conversation around talent. Don't let this be just kind of a lecture forum and then you never talk about your talent again. It's something that can certainly be utilized for the benefit of you and others around you. It's also helpful to use people as a frame of reference. Sometimes we look at our talents and say, well, everybody's good at that. Like color coordinating your closet. Not everybody's good at that. I have been public speaking since I was 11 years old. I thought everyone enjoyed it. It turns out it's the #1 fear in the world. So who knew? So sometimes it's nice to have a frame of reference for what people bring to the table versus what you bring to the table. And last but not least, once you do start to dive into those talents and those strengths that you and others possess, start to complement it, encourage it. This is true in your business, this is true in your life, your children, your husband or wife, whomever is in your life, complementing the talents that they possess as well. There is no such thing as a well-rounded person. And we've been told that our entire lives that to be successful, you have to be well-rounded. And I wholeheartedly disagree. And I hope that you will as well after this conversation, that if we're all well-rounded, then none of us are unique. And that's in opposition to what we're talking about today. Tammy specifically said that she's been called unique before. That's a perfect example. And so I would encourage you to encourage others to discuss what it is that makes you so unique. All right, so for those of you that do have a pen or paper in front of you, I want to play a little game, and if you can't participate, that's okay. It's gonna be really funny regardless. So we are going to play a little game, and I am going to time you. I have my stopwatch here. What I want you to do, if you do have pen and paper in front of you, and don't start yet until I say the word start. No cheaters allowed. You are going to write the phrase, I use my strengths every day, 3 separate times. Don't start yet. So I use my strengths every day, I use my strengths every day, I use my strengths every day. You are going to write that in 3 separate sentences. Once you are done, you will raise your hand so I know that you're done with the task. And once everyone's hand is up, that I can see, of course, I will stop the timer. And I'll actually stop screen sharing so I can see everybody at the same time. So whenever you're done with writing your 3 separate sentences, you'll raise your hand and keep it up so I can stop the timer, okay? Now before you start, switch your pen to your other hand. Tina's not happy with me. All right, everyone start. I use my strengths every day, go. I see people laughing already. This is some serious concentration.
How much time you got?
Can't tell you until we're all done. Hands up when you're done. Yay, good job, Linda. And keep them up.
You know, every day I brush my teeth with my opposite hand. And I wonder if that actually helped me in this activity because
it did.
So I do it because I heard that it's something you can do to prevent Alzheimer's by developing different neurological pathways to accomplish simple tasks. So I thought, oh, I want to do that. I don't want to get that. But now look how it showed up here. Isn't that so cool?
That is cool. We are talking about talent and preventing Alzheimer's today.
I didn't mean to derail. Sorry.
No.
I truly just wanted to do ditto. On my page.
Hands up when you're done. Okay. Oh, still got a couple. Hands up when you're done. Keep them up. This is hard. You guys are going to hate me by the end of this.
Does it have to be legible?
It does not have to be legible. I get asked that question all the time. It does have to be in English. I get that question a lot too. right.
No,
Does
you're
anyone-
lucky that we like you so much.
Maybe not after this. You can talk about me in the chat after.
Nah.
Okay, good job, guys. That's hard. All right, so you get a chance to redeem yourself. You're going to do the exact same thing, but with your normal writing hand. Exact same scenario. Hold your hand up when you're done. Ready, go. I use my strengths every day 3 times. Lots of looks of satisfaction and no stress anymore. Oh, wow. You guys are speed racers. One by one. Keep your hand up when you're done.
Still not legible, but hey, I did it. I'm
All
a
right.
photographer. I'm not a writer.
All right, so I promise that's the last bit of torture I'll put you guys through. So give me some words to describe the first experience without cussing at me.
Frustrating.
Frustrating. Was anyone like,
Impossible.
what was that?
Impossible.
Impossible. Was anyone just stressed out?
It was uncomfortable.
That was my word, uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable.
Okay, so I'm the odd duck because I thought it was challenging and fun.
I'm with you.
Well, I learned it was easier to try to do it in cursive than it was to do it in print.
Oh yeah.
Interesting. I'm glad, Linda and Hope, that you guys spoke, because every single group, no matter what, there's always one person that loves the challenge, and there's always one person that figures out a more efficient way to do it every time. And so I'd be interested to see each of your strengths, because I can guess a few of them.
Oh really? Well, tell me what they are.
Two of us.
Tammy needs to get out a crystal ball.
I bet you guys have some achiever and some analytical skills in each of you. So how about the second activity? How about that one?
I mean, what's the big deal about writing something 3 times? It's easy.
Right. Didn't have to really think about it. It just kind of happened.
Yeah.
Well, it was especially easy compared to the first one.
Yeah, everything feels easy when the first time you do it. It's really hard.
I sat there and
Any
compared
guesses?
the old one.
What's that?
I was comparing it to the left-handed one, going, oh man, boy, I write horrible both ways.
Right. This is how doctors must write. They use their opposite hand. So any guesses as to how long it took you the first time?
Ever.
3 minutes.
Felt like you're ready.
65 seconds.
Pretty close. So it was 1:41.
Huh.
And guesses as to the second time?
1 minute.
17 seconds.
Closer. So 41 seconds.
Wow.
So it literally took an extra minute the first time. And so with that being said, here's my very lame attempt at an analogy and a metaphor. So when we are working in our weaknesses, as opposed to focusing on our strengths, it feels like the first activity. When we are focusing on not using our talents, what's most natural to us, it's exhausting. It takes way too much time, almost double the amount of time. It's frustrating, it's uncomfortable, and it really doesn't look pretty on paper. Versus the second activity, when we are thriving in our design, when we are using the talents that we actually bring to the table, what's the big deal? It just happens naturally. I don't really have to think about it. Feels like breathing. It's really comfortable. It takes me half the time, and I'm pretty satisfied by the end because I know I did it well. And so this is the visual and the frustrating activity I want you to walk away with when us as business owners start to look at ourselves and only focus on what we don't have. I want you to think about this activity, shift the paradigm, and focus on the talents that you do possess. So with all of that being said, that is all I have for you today. Wendy, I'll hand it back over to you, and thank you guys for being patient with all of the frustrating activities.
Great presentation. Good for you.
Yeah, thanks, Lauren.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Does anybody have any questions in regards to the to Lauren at this point? No questions? Okay, so I have it set up. Oh, go ahead, Anna. Sorry, didn't see her.
I was just going to ask, Lauren, if we wanted to take the assessment, is there like a website or how do we go about doing that?
Great question. So you can go to gallupstrengthsfinder.com. The assessment is $20. If you would like, and I told Wendy I would share this with you guys as well, I offer a free 20-minute phone call just to give a really brief overview of your assessment results. Obviously, I provide full-blown coaching, but just to give you an overview of what each of those strengths kind of mean for you personally, I'm happy to have a 20-minute phone call. You'll just have to send your assessment results over to me if you're interested in that.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah.
And Barnsley?
So how many, in the 4 sections, how many sections are usually represented for each person? Like
That's
2?
a really good question. So typically people have a dominant. So for example, I have 3 of my 5 in relationship building. More often than not, it's broken up as 2, 2, and 1, or 3, 1, and 1. I have seen a few instances where people have all 4 represented in their top 5. That's a little bit more rare. But more often than not, we kind of lean toward one versus the other.
And so my other question would be, or maybe it's a statement, then when we put together a team, it's really important to have the people on that team in the areas where we are not represented.
Yes.
I was going to say deficient, but I stopped myself.
Good.
Yeah, that's exactly correct. The most ideal workplace teams are ones that are representing all 4 categories equally.
So let me ask you this. I took the Gallup assessment when I was at a corporation where I used to work.
Mm-hmm.
And is that test just true about me for the rest of my life, or do you think it'll change over time?
So yes and no. 75% of the time when you retake the test, it's the exact same results. The other 25% comes from shifting. So life happens. Our talents are always the same. What they do is they shift. For example, when I took the test the first time, my #1 strength was responsibility. When I took it a second time, I had been an entrepreneur and business owner for 3 years at that point. And my #1 was harmony, because I was constantly interacting with my clients and trying to find common denominators among the teams I was coaching. So harmony had always been in my top 5 or top 10. It was just shifting upwards. We utilize the strengths that we need in the seasons that we need them. So if you took it again, to answer your question directly, your talents more than likely are going to be the exact same, just in a different order.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay, so I am willing to give somebody a free book. The book does come with the ability to take the assessment. And so I have it set up that Demi is going to share her screen, and she's going to, she's going to share on her computer. She's going to, she has everybody's name in there, and they are going to, she's going to roll the little wheel of names to see who's getting the free book.
That's my high tech. It's Hope.
So who was it?
Hope.
Hope.
Oh, yay!
Thank you. Yay for Hope.
Yay, Hope. All right.
We need hope.
Have you ever had the assessment? Have you ever done it?
I don't believe I've done that one.
Okay, cool.
Fun.
Yeah. All right. So I just want to give a moment to Estelle so that she can introduce herself. I want to say thank you to Lauren for presenting to us. And again, everybody, go ahead and make sure that your information is in the comments. And I will send out an email with, or in the chat, sorry. I'll send out an email afterwards. Estelle, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. And thank you, Lauren. This was great. I'm so happy I was able to hop on. Sorry I was late, everybody. My name is Dr. Estelle Solik of Living Well with Estelle. I am a physical therapist by training, but I have a nutrition coaching, one-on-one coaching business right now where I focus on women who have been, putting themselves sort of on the back burner and ready to take charge of their own health. So I create one-on-one programs for people to really work on those health goals so they can make themselves a priority. So because when we start taking care of ourselves, we are much better able to take care of others. So that's what I do. So I'm Estelle of Living Well with Estelle.
Cool. Good. So anybody have anything else that they would like to share with the group? Are there any things coming up that you want to share? Patty, do you want to go ahead? Oh, wait, you're on mute.
Yes.
There you go.
Sorry. It takes me a second. Yeah, I just wanted to say I've announced that I'm going to be doing a session for folks who live in Cary. It's a Zoom session about what to do with your trash, what it goes in, if it goes in the recycle bin or the trash bin, and why. And that is going to be at 7:00 p.m. on June the 3rd. It's a Wednesday. And so I'll just put a link in the comments, in the chat. If anyone's interested, it's Cary specific though. So if you live in Cary, I know this is the Apex group, so I throw it out there.
I know that we have a lot of women who come from Cary that come down to this presentation or this time. That's fine.
Awesome.
And as the chapter of the Cary group, I concur, this is a great idea.
So make sure that you go ahead and put the link and all that sort of information on the actual 1099 Facebook group. That way the other ladies who are in Cary can attend.
I will do that.
Thanks. Barnsley?
Yeah, I was trying to type this in. Chapel Hill Leads has a really vibrant community on Wednesday mornings at 8:30 a.m. You can Google Chapel Hill Leads and find the website and get the Zoom information. Make sure you wear a hat. That's why I have on this hat. We wear hats.
Why do you have to wear a hat?
It's just something fun we do, Linda, because as business owners, we all wear a lot of hats. It's our branding. Yeah, but you can wear any hat you want. A Viking hat, a party hat, a whatever you want.
I'm going to wear a fedora.
Good. It's fun to see the hats that people have. And the other thing is Women in Networking Chapel Hill chapter. If you would like to be invited to come as my guest, it's Thursday mornings. We have a great group, and I'd love for you to come as my guest. You could just put your email up there, and I'll send you the info, the Zoom info.
Hey, Wendy, are you going to send everybody, like post this meeting, everybody's contact information?
I usually send out an email afterwards. I take everybody's email information and I send it to all the attendees who were here for today's meeting.
So Barnsley, why don't you send everybody that link? Because I think everyone would be interested, if you don't mind.
Which link?
The one where you said if we wanted to be your guest.
A million. Yeah.
No,
how about I send it to you and you send it out to everyone?
Sure.
I don't have the list. Who has?
No, I just wanted that one that you said be your guest.
Oh, well, yeah, you could be my guest at either one, Chapel Hill, but you can, Chapel Hill Leads or Women in Networking. Okay. Linda, what's your email? You have it up there? And also one last thing.
In the chat?
I do. I have it in the chat, Barnsley.
Oh,
I sent it actually to you privately by accident and then sent it to the whole group.
Okay. All right. Hopefully I can see it. And also I'm having a big party, a networking party, and helping a friend launch her beauty counter business on Saturday, 4:30. If you'd like to come to that, it's going to be a lot of fun. And Beauty Counter eliminates over 1,800 toxic chemicals that go into most makeup. It's going to be fun. Put your email if you want to invite to that. Lots of fun stuff going on.
Okay. Nanette, did you have your hand raised?
Yes, I just wanted to mention that Vibe Cary is hosting a Feed Your Mind event tomorrow at 4:30. It's Christy K. Rollins, and she's talking about ditch your pitch, how to have better sales conversations. So you can go to Eventbrite and sign up for that, or you can go to our website, look at our calendar, and get a link from there.
Great idea. Thanks, Annette.
Yeah.
Bye, Melanie.
Okay. Anybody else have anything that they want to share? I think that brings us to the full hour of the presentation. We appreciate you being here. Next week, we will be virtual. We're going to be doing a business brainstorming with an individual who is needing some help with her products that we're going to be doing like a market research for her. So come in with your ideas to help a business owner who has developed a product and has had to deal with a lot of changes due to the COVID-19. So any of your feedback will be greatly appreciated for that individual. I will say that she is, it's an artist who's putting her art onto products, and she has some, she's just looking for some feedback. And I thought it'd be a great kind of experience for other people to go through. Additionally, we will be going live on June 3rd, and we're doing that with, we're going to be doing that at the American Frontier off of Olive Chapel Road in Apex. So we're changing to a new location, and we're going live. So hope you can be there. We will be able to do social distancing while we are there. There's a conference room, and it should be able to accommodate us as far as that goes. Christy, you had a question?
I got kicked off. I just wanted to let everyone know that as we are getting and going back to sort of the real world, which is exciting, also WPN is also starting a statewide virtual chapter, so that for folks who may want to continue networking virtually, if they aren't ready yet to go back, I'm the chapter lead, so I'm happy to also allow you to be my guest. I'll put the link in here as well. And thank you for having me. It's been a wonderful meeting. I'm so excited to be a part of it.
Oh, thank you.
And Christy, I wanted to tell you that even though this group is going to go live, the North Raleigh group, which is today at 9 o'clock, every other week they'll be virtual, and every other week they'll be live. So if you wanted to jump on that call, there's some great girls there. I don't know if that fits your schedule at 9 in the morning, but just wanted to make sure you knew about that option.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Does anybody know of a really cool Friday morning networking group?
You mean besides you?
Yes, actually.
I don't have one.
I
So
enjoy
we can hang out anytime. Sorry.
Barnsley, the Triangle Business Breakfast.
Yeah, that's the one I was going to say.
Triangle Business Breakfast that meets every Friday. When we meet in person, we meet at the Maiden Inn, but we've been meeting virtually.
I went there once.
I'm there. Is that Scotty's group? Is that Scotty's group?
Yeah,
Okay,
he's
yeah,
got more.
Scotty's my insurance guy. I love him.
No, different Scott.
It's not, no, it's Scott Moore. With
Oh, that's okay. Triangle Business what?
Breakfast.
Okay, I'm writing it in for everybody. If you're like me. By the way, you know, if you hit those 3 little dots at the right, you guys, you can save the chat, because there's a lot of good info in there.
Yeah, Triangle Business Breakfast is great.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we have to bring our own breakfast.
It's virtual
Yeah, they're
right
still
now.
meeting virtual right now. I'm not sure when they're going. Well, I guess we'll find out once the governor decides to let us know what the next step is. We'll be able to see when we're going live for things. So, all right. Anything else?
Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you all for coming. I hope to see you again, and hopefully we'll get to see you live in June. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks, Lauren.
Is everybody gone? Is it just me and you?
Nope, we still got Anna and we still have Estelle.
I love Anna. She's a great girl.
You're muted, Anna. Oh, and I'm still recording. Let me stop the recording.
Good idea.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was alone until I heard y'all talking. I had clicked on a different screen.